Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Snubfest. Group snubbed by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Iron Maiden. Maybe the Rock Hall just knows that Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson has no love for what the institution represents and doesn't want to deal with the inevitable backlash. Maybe they fear Maiden would turn the ceremony into chaos if they were ever inducted. But if that's the case, the Rock Hall is only silencing itself. A real rock and roll Hall of Fame is incomplete without Iron Maiden. Selling 130 million records should be enough to earn a spot, but even beyond that, their massive influence on generations of bands makes their absence a glaring omission. Ignoring Maiden only weakens the credibility of the Hall itself. Alice in Chains. Perhaps the Hall thinks grunge has been sufficiently honored with Pearl Jam and Nirvana already inducted. Maybe they believe the other major players, especially two of the big four, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, should just accept being overlooked. Or maybe Alice in Chains didn't release enough music before Lane Staley's passing, limiting how they're perceived. Whatever the excuse, it's not good enough. Alice in Chains defined an entire era and still resonate today. They deserve their due. Rio Speedwagon. This one is almost comical. Whether or not REO Speedwagon should be inducted is debatable, but the fact that they haven't even been nominated is absurd. Last year, Foreigner finally got in, and there's no way Foreigner is that much better than REO. Rio Speedwagon had 13 top 40 hits, and their music still plays everywhere. They're undeniably a part of rock history, and their absence from the Hall is just another inconsistency. Styx! Styx finds itself in the same predicament as REO Speedwagon, but with an even stronger case for induction. They've sold 54 million records compared to REO's 40 million. Foreigner, who finally made it in, had 9 top 10 hits. Styx had 8. The numbers are nearly identical. If Foreigner belongs, so does Styx. Simple as that. Motorhead. Lemmy Kilmister and company deserve their place in the Hall, if not for their music alone, then for the way they influenced countless metal bands in sound, attitude, and stage presence. But the truth is, the Rock Hall just doesn't like metal. They lean towards safer, more mainstream rock acts. Motorhead was never about playing it safe, and that's exactly why they belong. Motley Crue. You don't have to be a Motley Crue fan to recognize their impact. Unlike many other hair metal bands of the 80s, they weren't just about style. They consistently put out real rock records. They weren't a parody of the genre. They were the genre. Are they the best band of all time? No. But were they the definitive hair metal band? Absolutely. Boston? Without Boston, bands like Smashing Pumpkins might not exist in the same way. Their layered, intricate production reshaped how rock albums were made. But maybe the Hall holds it against them that they took too long between albums at their peak. Their first 2 albums, especially their self-titled debut, which sold 20 million copies worldwide, set a high bar before 1978. But by the time their 3rd album arrived in 1986, the industry had moved on. The Hall shouldn't have. The Smiths. Morrissey, Johnny Marr, and the rest of the Smiths will likely never see induction. Their biggest crime? Being unapologetically British. The Rock Hall has a clear American bias. If Oasis had been from New York instead of Manchester, they'd probably be in by now. But influence should matter, and few bands shaped alternative rock the way the Smiths did. On that alone, they should have been inducted long ago.